Good afternoon to all our viewers and listeners in Japan, and good morning to all our viewers and participants from Europe. Welcome to NRW Global Business Fireplace Web Talk, this time on the topic Challenge the Climate Crisis. Energy and resource efficiency success stories from Germany and Japan. We're very honored and grateful that we have a round of excellent speakers this time on this very important topic. Everyone will be aware that climate crisis is not a future topic, it's here. And for the time being, it's here to stay. We all have to challenge and tackle the issues and the climate crisis itself. As part of our efforts to do this, energy and resource efficiency is extremely important. Therefore, we are happy to show you some success stories from Germany and Japan today. NRW Global Business Japan is the Japanese subsidiary of the Trade and Investment Agency of the German state of North Rhine-Westphalia, and our brand is NRW Global Business since November 1st last year. Our series of Fireplace web talks and online seminars started last year in April and has continued on a nearly monthly basis with a number of different topics, but the topic of energy and resource efficiency is definitely an important topic and will accompany us in the future. Now, before I, Georg Löer, as the representative of the NRW Global Business Japan office, tell you a little bit more about today's event, I would like to invite the speakers of today's event to just join me in saying hello. And for this purpose, I will stop the screen. So everyone, please join me, turn on your video and sound. Excellent. So today we have from Germany, from the wonderful city of Wuppertal, Professor Dr. Peter Hennicke, co-chair of the German-Japanese Energy Transition Council, and a hearty welcome to you, Professor Hennicke. I think we have spoken to him earlier, and he has already said hello. I think he can hear us. So, there you are. Thank you so much. We're very honored to have you here on board with us today. And after your speech, we welcome Mr. Philipp Mihajlovic, Senior Consultant at B.A.U.M Consult GmbH in Hamm, another wonderful city in North Rhine-Westphalia. Mr. Mihajlovic, it looks like you're sitting on the tree, but the tree is behind you and the symbol for B.A.U.M Consult. Great that you are here with us today and will tell us about the success story of ECOPROFIT in Europe and in North Rhine-Westphalia in particular. Then we have, I would say, from my hometown, or very close to my hometown, Mr. Tim Behrendt, who is the CEO of WSG Economic and Urban Development Agency in Menden. Menden, I'm sure all of you know, is in southern Westphalia, right in the heart of North Rhine-Westphalia. And Mr. Behrendt will tell us a little bit about the positive story of ECOPROFIT with a company which originates originally from Menden in 1912, but is now located very close by and is called Trilux. So we look forward to your speech there. Then we have a little bit closer to Düsseldorf, and today with a very nice background image from Düsseldorf, Mr. Roland Posok, who represents Rohm Semiconductor GmbH in Willich, a manager for logistics, operation and general affairs. And you will tell us kindly about the efforts of to implement ECOPROFIT in Willich. Willich, a wonderful town also in North Rhine-Westphalia. Actually, we know Mr. Hayes, the mayor of Willich, quite well. And I think this is the asparagus season, Spargelsaison in Willich. So we wish we were there, but I hope you eat a lot of Spargel for us. Yeah, and then we have Professor Sae Kondo. She's going to join a little bit later because she's still working with her students and will be a little bit joining us a little bit later. She is Associate Professor, Graduate School of Engineering at Mihajlovic University, a prefecture, by the way, where we also have had excellent exchanges with, and visiting researcher at the University of Tokyo. And she will tell us about a very exciting ECOPROFIT initiative in the city of Iwaki in Fukushima prefecture, which we of course also know due to the collaboration we have had since 2011 with Fukushima prefecture. And then last but not least, we have Koichiro Kawakita, the Executive Vice President of B.A.U.M Consult Japan, and also co-researcher at the Research Center for Advanced Science and Technology at the University of Tokyo, also speaking from Tokyo here, just as like myself. And you will tell us a little bit or give us an introduction to B.A.U.M Consult Japan. So with that, I look forward to a good afternoon or morning together with you. And I will now return to my presentation, if you allow me. So please rest and turn off your videos and mics again, and we will then proceed. So I hope you can see my screen right now. Just a second. Yes, and well, I've already gone through the event schedule of today, but here you have it again in writing. And just to have a short overlook over it, I don't think I have to go into it in detail. This is the second page or second half. I will try to have a good time management today, and since we have quite a few speakers, and I think we will have some questions for our Q&A session and panel discussion. I would have to be a little bit stricter today than normally. So please bear with me in case I should interrupt you somewhere along the line. Now, Zoom, I think everyone is familiar with. We normally lock the meeting after about 15 minutes or so, and you will be familiar with the functions. We have today two excellent interpreters, Frau Konuki and Frau Kageyama, who are translating. So you have the interpretation button where you can choose whether you want to hear the original sound or the Japanese or English sound. Then for questions, please use the Q&A function. You can, of course, use this all through the event. In the open discussion, if you want to participate and say something directly, please raise your hand. We will try to get you on board at that time. Again, I hope that there will be no technical issues. If there are technical inquiries, please use the chat function for that. And also, if in emergency cases, you may, of course, call our office where colleagues will be ready to support you. So, this is also for our Japanese friends in Japanese. And again, as always, I ask our participants to maybe write their name in alphabet characters and maybe write your company name if you would like to do so, because that makes communication with us a little bit easier. Now, NRW.Global Business Japan is, as I mentioned, the subsidiary of NRW.Global Business GmbH in Düsseldorf. Today, we have a wonderful picture of Hamm up there, a wonderful castle near Hamm. I plan to go there next time I'm in Germany. But for the meantime, we are here in Japan, and this is our team. This is Yagihashi-san, Sugizaki-san, Kusuki-san, and myself. And here you see what we do. Since our new start in November as NRW Global Business, we, of course, not only support Japanese companies going to North Rhine-Westphalia, but we also support NRW companies who wish to expand, enter the Japanese market. So this makes life for us a lot easier and more interesting. We focus in our work on important topics like today's topic or interesting technologies and innovation. And we hope to work as a facilitator between Japan and Germany, of course, with our special focus on North Rhine-Westphalia, obviously Germany's leading industrial region in the western part of Germany. We pride ourselves in having a great network in Japan as well as in Germany. And of course, our function is to make this network available to our clients and support you in any way which would help you to create your success story, be it in Germany or be it in Japan. So yeah, Corona is still with us. As you can see, there are lots of areas in Germany where we have Corona. We have, so to say, the emergency brake. Notbremse was, I think it's implemented since today. It was decided in the German Federal Parliament. As you know, also in Tokyo and some areas in Japan, we will be having a kind of lockdown from, I think, next week. And yeah, in Nordrhein-Westfalen itself, you can also see some areas are a little bit critical. Mr. Behrendt has to be a little bit careful and wash his hands more often than some others. Like in my hometown area, Soest, the incidence is a little bit lower, but yeah, the situation remains to be critical, and we can only hope that vaccinations will move ahead swiftly in Germany and Japan. But we will definitely get through this, and after we have gotten through this, we will be doing business again as usual. And we've had a very successful year last year, actually quite surprising. And also we have quite a few interesting projects in this year. Let me now rush you through these slides. We have many leading Japanese companies in Nordrhein-Westfalen, altogether around 650 to 670 companies. But now I would like to introduce our first speaker, Professor Dr. Peter Hennicke of the German-Japanese Energy Transition Council. Professor Hennicke, welcome. I have here your CV. You are by training an economist with a focus on the development of strategies for energy transition, climate mitigation, and resource efficiency in Germany and internationally. You are a former president of the world-renowned Wuppertal Institute. I mean, Wuppertal, as everyone knows, is kind of the Manchester of Germany, where the Industrial Revolution in Germany started, and still a wonderful, beautiful city. You have served in many high-level and German and international expert commissions. You are a full member of the Club of Rome, received Environmental Award of Germany in 2014 and the Gothenburg Award in 2016, and published more than 20 books, more than 200 articles. And right now, your main focus or your main work is as co-chair of the German-Japanese Energy Transition Council. So we are very honored to have you here today. I mean, you're a very well-known figure in Germany and Japan, so we are very grateful that you take out time to talk to us today. For our Japanese friends, this is your CV in Japanese. And yeah, so shall we start? I will share your presentation now, just a second, and let me open your presentation. Here we are. Just a second, now into the presentation mode. Yes, Professor Hennicke, the floor is yours.
So, thank you very much, Georg Löer. Welcome to you all in Japan, in Germany. It's a great honor to be here and talking to you at this highly interesting event. Next, please. I will start a little bit from the perspective of think globally, act locally, and starting with the top-down perspective. We have the challenge of multiple ecological crises, and these have driven us, mankind, beyond planetary boundaries. It's not only climate change, it's biodiversity loss, and last not least, it's the corona pandemics. So we have to combine strategies to increase synergies of policies. For example, combining the principles of circular economy with decoupling strategies. I will focus a little bit on Germany, first on the national top-down perspective. We did some exercise how to combine climate and resource protection. And is it possible for a highly industrialized country like Germany to reach an absolute decoupling between GDP and the use of nature? And the answer will be yes, in principle, technologically based, it's possible. But then I come down to the bottom-up perspective and to the nexus between conserving nature and generating economic benefits. The main level is how can we reduce material costs, including energy costs? A main driver behind this process are cities and municipalities, and we have to incentivize small and medium enterprises to integrate climate mitigation strategies with resource policies. And last but not least, we have to disseminate best practice example. There are a lot of those in Germany and Europe. Next, please. When we look into the current trends of resource use and material productivity, it's quite clear business as usual is not an option anymore. The per capita demand has increased from 7.4 tons in 1970 to 12 tons in 27. And we still have an exponential increase. So we have to stop this process and step forward to a decarbonizing and decoupling process. Next one, please. There's a very interesting analysis which has been done by UNEP and the International Resource Panel, showing the share and the impacts of extracting and primary processing of the four big raw material streams: biomass, fossil fuels, metals, minerals, on, for example, biodiversity loss and climate impacts. It's not only climate impacts, these are health impacts, water stress, and a lot of biodiversity loss. All in all, it accounts for 90% of biodiversity loss and 50% of climate change. So it's quite clear, it's an imperative to combine both energy and resource policies, climate mitigation, and coupling the use of nature. Next one, please. Decoupling is possible in a threefold way. We have to decouple well-being from GDP, resources from GDP, and last but not least, the impact on nature, on things from GDP. This looks promising, but it's not easy. To get there, let us come to the concepts and definitions. Next one. Impact decoupling, for example, means reducing negative environmental impacts on things, and which came from extraction and use of resources. And relative decoupling means that the growth rate of resource use or the impacts should be lower than the growth rate of the economic indicator, maybe GDP. This will happen in the global south, if possible, but we in the global north have to decouple absolutely, meaning that resource use declines, even if GDP goes up. Next one, please. Of course, we need to measure and possible measurement of decoupling. I will not go into detail here. It's not GDP alone. We need indicators of really sustainable economic welfare on the one side to catch the increase of the level of well-being. And on the other hand, the use of nature is best captured by the total material requirement. But of course, biodiversity or energy, land use are indicators as well. Next one. So when we look into OECD countries, we can see that relative decoupling has happened. GDP has increased. Municipal waste, for example, was relatively decoupled, energy as well, materials also, and the greenhouse gases. But it's not an absolute decoupling process. It's a beginning, but we have to speed up the process. Next one. The problem behind is that our economy is a linear economy, stepping from extraction over manufacturing, distributing, using, up to waste. And if we look at the value stream, it goes up to use, and then it will be dumped into waste. We lose a lot of waste, a lot of value when we keep to linear economy. So next one, we need a transition to a circular economy. And a circular economy means to have many R cycles of production, consumption, and behavior on repair, recovery, reuse, resale, refurbishment, remanufacturing, recycling, to make the economy as circular as possible. Next one. This sounds maybe encouraging, to not to lose added value, not to lose raw materials. But at the end of the day, it must be brought down to business models. And the right-hand side of this slide shows that's a complicated question. For example, when it comes to use and consumption, we need second-hand markets, we need sharing models, and maybe on-call, on-demand processes. So one very important step to speed up the process to circular economy is to develop adapted business models. Next one. Because we are still far away from a circular economy. This is the picture of EU 28. The circularity rate is about 12%. It's slowly increasing, but certainly this is not enough. Next one. Japan is leading the process. The circular rate is up to nearly 15%, and the resource productivity indicator is going up. So we have to learn from each other and intensify our cooperation to speed up the process. Next one. It's important to look into specific material production streams. The most important in relation to greenhouse gases are iron, steel, aluminium, other metals, or cement, lime, plaster, and other non-metallic minerals, very much connected with the building sector and environment, and so on. And you can see the impact has increased all over the world within the last 20 years. Next one. There's a very nice analysis done by UNEP and on the question, how can we reduce emissions and at the same time the resource use of buildings? All in all, it's possible for the G7 sector to reduce the energy consumption by 50%, and then we can get an add-on of additional 35% if we step forward to material efficiency strategies, lighter buildings, wood instead of concrete, and so on. Next one, please. There's a very interesting debate coming on buildings as a global carbon sink. This has been developed by the Potsdam Institute. Galina Shokina and colleagues published a very interesting paper. I can recommend it very much to look into it. And the main message is that we can have a double dividend, avoiding mineral-based construction and store carbon in engineered timber buildings. And this is due to the fact that there are a lot of emissions connected with cement and steel, but we have a lot of sinks in sustainable forestry to compensate these emission increases. Next one. It's important to have good policy packages. And when you look at the European Union, we started with an action program in 2002, then stepped forward to a flagship initiative on resource efficient Europe, and now coming closer to a circular economy and a big, very impressive action plan how to implement the circular economy. Next one. It's not one instrument which solves the problems, but it's a complicated policy mix which helps us to step forward to a circular economy. Not going into detail at this moment because the time is short. We need reuse second-hand markets. We need much more standards. For example, eco-design directive is a very promising and interesting directive, reducing energy consumption of many products. We have to extend it to resource productivity and circular incentives. Next one. All in all, we need a comprehensive sustainability strategy, which leads us to an absolute decoupling, which combines resource efficiency as much as possible with greenhouse gas neutral economy steps, which looks into lifestyles, sufficiency perspectives, and which integrates policy approaches across all policy levels. Next one. Coming to Germany, we are halfway successful. The raw material productivity increased by 50% compared to 1994, but the target for 2020 has been a doubling. So we have to speed up. Relative decoupling is not enough. Next one. The great encouragement for speeding up is economic markets. I call them green tech lead markets. We have 6 of those. It's the renewable generation of electricity, energy efficiency, material efficiency, sustainable mobility, waste, and water management. There's a nice analysis on that done by Roland Berger, Green Tech Made in Germany. And you can see at the figures that the markets have increased tremendously, mostly energy efficiency and material efficiency. But now looking at the Earth Day today and the process which will be encouraged by it, the dynamics will speed up the process of broader and more attractive green tech lead markets. So worldwide competition will lead us to new technologies, to innovation, to make the decoupling and circular economy really happen. Next one, German industry is well placed within these markets. You can see the increase rate is much higher than the average. And the revenue which can be created on that markets is promising. So again, my expectation is that these attractive opportunities will increase after the day today and the new dynamics which we got in climate mitigation options. Next one. As I mentioned, to integrate climate mitigation and resource efficiency makes the steps to a climate neutral Germany easier. This is a nice experiment which has been done by scenario analysis of the Environmental Agency, saying that 95% reduction is possible until 2050, combined with a reduction of 60% raw material use. And this would mean that really an industrialized country would demonstrate that the decoupling of greenhouse gases and raw material use is possible. Next one, they even extended the analysis a little bit on different scenarios. I will not go into the details. By the way, you'll get all the transparencies, the slides later on, if it's a little bit quick. But the new analysis shows that even a reduction of energy consumption by 50% and a complete carbon neutral Germany in 2050 can be combined. Next one, with a reduction of resource flows by 70%. Next one, please. So what are the strategies to combine those policy agendas? Of course, energy efficiency should be increased as much as possible. But it's not only energy efficiency first, I would add energy and material efficiency first, extending the slogan from the IEA. We need to increase the material efficiency in manufacturing, the recycling rates, the substituents, the substitution of critical metals, and step forward to more durable, repairable products, and of course, look into consumer behavior. Next one. We have a nice program called the German Resource Policy Program, Resource Efficiency Program. It's now extended to a third step. And the principles are quite convincing. Ecological necessities must be combined with economic opportunities. We have a global responsibility as industrialized countries. We should step forward to absolute decoupling, at last not least to a quality growth, which makes growth independent or less dependent on the use of nature. So what is the problem with the program? Next one. I will not go into details. Of course, we have a lot of obstacles, not only in Germany, but everywhere. These are financial deficits, competition between ministries, an uneven prominence of policy areas, and so on. And one of the most important steps, in my opinion, is binding national instruments and targets are needed, and much more consultancy and incentives for small and medium enterprises. Next one. And we have to step forward to develop really promising circular business models. I'm part of the board of the biggest Swedish program on this, combining most advanced science from Linköping, Lund, and Chalmers University with a lot of bottom-up experience from business. And they say we can differentiate between 5 business models. I will not go now in detail. I suggest very much visit the website of Mistra Rees. Mistra Rees says renewable, resource efficient and effective solutions. You will find a lot of interesting, especially bottom-up models, which are very useful, not only in Sweden, but in Japan, Germany as well. Next one, please. The most important driver is to reduce material costs. In Germany, it's about 43% of the gross production value of industry, much more than the personal costs. So the strategy says, and the nexus between the physical and economic impact is we have to reduce this material cost. There is some scenario analysis showing that 30% can be reduced. This means 300 billion euros in 2030. That's a promising agenda to step forward and to combine resource efficiency with the increase of economic benefits. Next one. Why is it? Why does it happen? We have, when we look into a business from input out to processes and output, there is a lot of non-product output connected with this processing activities. And as I said, about 10, maybe 30% of this total costs of production, which are not adding to added value, can be saved by many processes. And we will hear today how this could be made happen. Next one. All in all, we have to speed up the process. Labor productivity has increased tremendously. Energy efficiency is lagging behind, and material efficiency as well. So we should look into making tons and kilowatt hours redundant, not people, because raising labor productivity can mean unemployment, but to make tons and kilowatt unemployed, it's very profitable. Next one, and coming to the end of my presentation, we have a lot of activities on the regional level. I just mentioned some of those. You can look at the websites, and all is connected with what we call the production integrated environmental protection. That means that we should reduce within the process within the processes in industry the use of energy and raw materials as much as possible to get a cost relief, a reduction of costs. Next one. One leading agency is the Resource Efficiency Agency of South-Westphalia, and the activities are based on sound audits, what can be done on the local level, on the end company level, together with giving incentives to implement it in reality. Next one. And we need to disseminate good practice examples. Of course, you cannot read it. It's just an example how to organize a fact sheet which disseminates success stories here for producing blades. Next one. On the European level, we have an even more extended dissemination process, which is conducted by the European Resource Efficiency Knowledge Network. I selected only 4 of many, many good practice beispiel examples. One on a German bakery, one of eco design, which is absolutely important at the beginning. So if you want to find success stories in Europe, you can find them there. And last but not least, we should mobilize the municipal level. We call it local development promotion. This means making cities and regions more resilient and keep value creation within the region. We have some pilot projects conducted by Wuppertal Institute. Next one. And you can see the agenda on the local level is very broad, from sharing economy over social business, crowdfunding finance, up to local business, where ECOPROFIT is one of the most important parts. Next one. And again, buildings are part of these processes. Here's one example of the Innovation City Bottrop. And the main message coming out of this is rapid technology deployment must be combined with social innovations, which means participation of the inhabitants, of the people, of the owners of buildings. And this can increase the retrofit rate from 1%, this is the average in Germany, to even 7%. Next one. Last but not least, cities are on the way to step forward to 1.4 degree action plan in 2035. There's a campaigning process, German Zero, which is driven by municipal activities. And my last picture shows one important part. Last picture, please. The most important part to combine the climate mitigation agenda on the municipal level with reducing costs and resource consumption is ECOPROFIT. And of course, my colleagues in the next presentations are much more familiar with us. With us, I will stop and thank you for your attention.
Professor Hennicke, wonderful presentation, very in-depth, holistic, and with many, many excellent examples and kind of a roadmap down which showing us which way to go. And I think we really have a lot to learn and a lot to do, but there is hope that we can actually tackle these issues. And as you rightly said in your presentation, Japan is actually also not in a bad shape, but we still have to do a lot more. I remember that the Edo period in Japan was actually a time when a lot more things were reutilized, reused until the very end, and maybe we really have to have a mind change there. But thank you so much, and please stay for the discussion at the end. And now let me return to my presentation. Just a second. Okay. Here we go. Yes, Professor Hennicke. Vielen, vielen Dank. Thank you so much. So from now, we go on from Wuppertal to Hamm. I mean, we can't take the Schwebebahn because it doesn't go up to Hamm, but in any case, here we arrive in Hamm, in the Maximilian Park, wonderful park in Hamm, and are happy to listen to the presentation of Philipp Mihajlovic of B.A.U.M Consult GmbH. Just a brief look at his CV. He studied at the University of Dortmund, spatial planning studies, then did research in New Zealand. He joined B.A.U.M Consult in 2007 and has all the necessary qualifications which you need to work in if you need to work on such topics as ECOPROFIT. So, Mr. Mihajlovic, thank you so much for joining us today. We look forward to an interesting presentation from you, and let me ask you to share your slide. Just a second. I will stop my presentation now. The floor is yours. Please go ahead.
Thank you very much. Konnichiwa in Japan. Good morning in Germany. Just do this. I'm very glad and very honored to speak about our heart project, how we call it, the project we do. We like the most back at B.A.U.M. I was introduced, so I will skip this part. And I'm very honored to speak in front of so many people, and especially after Professor Dr. Hennicke, who again showed how valuable and important the work is we're doing every day. So I would just briefly introduce B.A.U.M, which was founded over 30 years ago in Hamburg, in the city of Hamburg in Germany, and has the agenda to bring sustainability into business practice. And that's what we are doing in all kind of different projects. I will show you in the end in what types of projects we're working on. We work in networks, so we have our own network around Germany, and we have different partners. And since last year, we have another partner, B.A.U.M Consult Japan, and Mr. Kawakita will tell you about this more. So what I'm about to talk to you today is our success story, and not meaning our in terms of B.A.U.M, but in terms of North Rhine-Westphalia. And I would just want to pick up the one thing, or Professor Hennicke told us about a lot very important things, but one thing that I like the most, or which is most important for EcoProfit, is that municipalities need to be put into position to inform and incentive small and middle enterprise businesses, and EcoProfit is one way of doing it. They are different in Germany, and there are a lot of ways working, but EcoProfit is one which is working over 20 years now. Just before I start explaining the project itself, I would just want to show you how the organizational structure in NRW is working. So we have a subsidy, a support program from the ministry, the environmental ministry of the federal state. And this support program, this subsidy, helps the districts and municipalities to take the initiative and to implement the EcoProfit project. And then the districts and municipalities can choose a consultant who can do this. In our case, that's us, but there are, of course, others as well who do a great job as well. So we start the realization. So and realization means we have a project which takes part in 12 months, more or less. It's a one-year project where we get a group of companies together to work on environmental protection and in combining environmental eco-protection with profitable business. So that's what you probably guessed about the name ECOPROFIT. So when we start this project, we have two main pillars in which we work with our companies. The participants get together in the workshop part. So we have, during this 1 year, we have 8 workshops every 8 to 10 weeks. We meet up in the companies. We try to get the companies to get to know each other better. And we have different inputs. You see the topics here. So we talk a lot, of course, a lot about energy in terms of energy efficiency, in terms of renewable energies. We show the companies the best practices Professor Hennicke was talking about. So we show what is working in other companies. So, but then we don't only show like our examples. We get the companies to talk to each other, because every participant in the EcoProfit project has his own experiences with energy efficiency, with waste management, water management, resource management, all the topics you see here. So we get the people to talk to each other, because we as a consultants, we can talk a lot. That's our job, and to show what's happening around them. But when the people talk to each other and explain each other what things are working and what not, it's much more valuable. So this is one part where we have, beside this hard and technical facts like energy, waste, water, resources, legal compliance, a very important thing. We have also motivation of employees. So it's about behavior of employees and customers in the end. So there's also our project is about communication and communicating this so important topic. So this is only one part of the project. So the companies meet up, they talk, they get some inputs and some ideas what they can do. The other part, not less important, maybe even more important, is the on-site consultancy. So on this part, we as a consultants go to the company on our own, and we talk to them about the individual potentials and problems and wishes, of course, in which parts of EcoProfit we can work on. So here we meet as a group. Here we are like individual in the company, on the company side, and we do site inspections. We gather data, we analyze data, we talk about individual potentials. So those two parts, they change. So we have a workshop, then we have an on-site meeting, then we have again 2 workshops, and then another on-site meeting. So in this 1 year where this takes part, the companies get not only ideas and a feeling what are the potentials, we make it possible to get measures done. So by having going for 1 year, the companies by the end, and I will show you the results, they get a lot of measures done, and they save a lot of money, they save a lot of CO2 and so on. But within the project, we have in the end a small examination and a award certification appointment where the companies get, like as you can see in this picture, get certificates which they can use for the external communication, internal communication, marketing, and so on. So the next couple of slides, I will try to explain what's happening in this project. This is the structure. So this is going on in general. Maybe for you to understand, Professor Hennicke was showing what the EU was doing since 2000. This is a project which started in the 90s. So we started in 1999. The project is originally from Austria, where it started in the beginning of the 90s. So, and since 1999, there is this support program, this subsidy from the NRW government, and we have done almost 200 projects with a lot of companies, and we have that for a lot of experience and a lot of best practices, what companies can do with what amount of money and what is the results of it. The companies who participated at our projects are from all kind of different from different sectors, industry sectors. So we have the production sector, but we also have social healthcare, handicraft, public institutions. We have kindergartens and schools participating on EcoProfit, because in the end, all kind of companies have energy consumption, they have waste, they have water, and there is a price on it. And we target all those important things. We find out the potentials and do measures which make sense, not only ecologically, but also economically for the companies. The sizes of the companies, this is the evaluation of our experience here in NRW. They go from under 50 small companies, small handicrafts, up to the big industry like ThyssenKrupp, like we had Mitsubishi Papers as a Japanese company in Bielefeld. We have all Mannesmann production sites and so on. So a lot of variation doing EcoProfit. And the measures which we target are very different. So, of course, we talk about energy. And when we talk about energy, we talk mostly about energy efficiency and about using the technology the companies have in their company, using it better. It's not about buying new technology. Our consultancy is neutral, so we don't have incentives to sell any types of technology. We try to use it better. So what we do is do a lot of analysis, how are different technologies used in terms of energy, lighting, compressed air, heating, air conditioning. You know, every company has it, and we do the same with waste, with water, with resources. And we analyze what is going into the company, what is going out, and what is the price behind it. And when we find out what are the biggest values, we talk with the companies about possibilities to optimize and to change the processes. But we talk about also mobility, vehicle fleet, and logistics. We talk about motivation of employees and legal compliance. So every company is different, has different experiences, has different projects done before EcoProfit. So we analyze what is going on and what's important for each company. And one of the most important things about our work with the companies is not to talk only about ideology and about, you know, saving the planet and doing good work like for next generations, which is very important, as we just heard from Professor Hennicke, but also, you know, to put the value on it and to show them that ecological valuable work is also profitable, can be profitable. So we talk a lot about numbers. So when we propose a measure about, you know, changing a system, changing a process, we always tell them or show, or even with help from other institutes, from partners, we show them what will it cost to do it and what will it gain. And as Professor Hennicke already showed it, we have like only in EcoProfit annual savings by now, it's over 20 years now, but we have almost 90 million euro every year, which saves the NRW economy just by having those measures. And they are not the measures counted which they implemented maybe after EcoProfit, because they got through EcoProfit, they got the feeling what processes do we analyze, what possibilities do we have, and within this 1 year, they usually don't implement all the measures, all the ideas they have. So we don't do it only for the money part. We also show, which is very important, especially for our partners, the municipalities and the districts, we count what is the environmental outcome. So by saving energy and water and waste, we also can, you know, we can put a number on CO2. So this is from those almost 200 successfully finished EcoProfit projects, 338,000 tons CO2 a year saved by only those 2,000 something companies, which is I think, very, very good. Very good number. So, and we don't only count it for whole projects and all our work. We do the counting and especially also the communication for all our customers. So after every project, we create a booklet, a brochure, a leaflet, where companies can show what they've done during this 1 year. And I just picked up some recent examples from Viersen, where Rome Semiconductor was participating as well. And we had in this project also companies who were ISO certificated on different scales. So companies usually who participate in EcoProfit, they have done some environmental valuable work, some waste management, some water management before. And even though they start working with us, they get usually a lot of ideas where they can perform even better. So what we do is, in the end, we give them the opportunity to show first the measures they've done. And what we do is we always show the investion and what is the benefit of it. And we get the numbers done for the whole year. So every company who participates gets a nice leaflet which they can use for certain communication. So this was a production site. This is another nice example from my last year, from the Corona year, where I finished a project with a football club as well. So it's not only about production sites. As I said, we had schools, we have hospitals, we have all kind of social companies working with us, but also football clubs. And even this football clubs, by not investing money almost at all, they save 140,000 euros each year. This gets a very, very, this is a nice sum on the one side, and the other side, they can communicate this with their supporters, with their, social media is for such a customer very, very important. So they have a possibility to support this. And Mr. Brozok will explain later what EcoProfit has done, where it has helped Rome Semiconductor by implementing their processes as a Japanese company. So this brochure, this leaflet booklet, that was the last now I created, where Rome Semiconductor also participated, was just finished 2 months ago. And what we do, we also show what is the investment, when is the return of invest of all those, because some companies invest money into putting those measures done, getting those measures done. So we measure at first, of course, all the numbers, but we also show which measures return when. So in this project, we had 26%, 1/4 there was no investment needed, no money needed to get a measure done. So we have a lot of processes, a lot of energy efficiency measures where people just have to think newly about their technology, about using their technology, about sorting their waste or whatever, and not investing money at all to get a positive benefit. And then we have, almost, if you get those together, 70% of the measures are the return of invest is before 3 years, which for most companies is an important number. So what we do is we try to put it together for everybody to understand, because the ideology behind it is very, very important, but the numbers for the people who decide in the end, the CEOs, are sometimes more important. So we try to get both sides, eco and profit. So to get it together, so we have the profit side. So we save costs, obviously. We generate advantages in terms of competitiveness. So companies who do EcoProfit, who do have a certificate, they have slightly an advantage to other companies who don't. And we get, by having the project on this municipality level or district level, we have a public attention. So there is press reporting about this project. We have, mayors doing the award certification festivities and so on. So this is a nice benefit for our participants. Then the environmental part, of course, we protect and save resources and energy. I skipped this part almost, but the legal compliance part, like what company have to do in terms of, you know, getting keeping the employees' health and safety, it's a very important thing, especially for smaller companies. So we help them in this case, so they're more compliant to the law. And then the connection part, the networking part, which I try to explain by explaining the workshops, is it's so important that companies get to know each other. They get to know what other companies are doing in terms of efficiency of resource management and so on. They get also contact to public departments who are project partners. They get contacts to, I was glad that Professor Hennicke was talking about B.A.U.M and the Effizienzagentur, the efficiency agency from North Rhine-Westphalia. They are always project partners in our project. So we get the experts together and they help together. And even the example he was showing from Idealsparten, they participated first in ECOPROFIT, and then they get to know the efficiency agency, and they have done the B.A.U.M project afterwards, which is, you know, a typical way of doing in mind with projects, starting with ECOPROFIT and doing more and more and more. So, and we have the innovation part. So, you know, it's not, when I talk about innovation, it's not about, you know, the newest technologies, experiments. It's about best practice, and it's especially about best practice working in neighbor companies, which is most valuable. The companies can go to the other participants, visit and see how it's working, which is, I think, the best way to implement. The SDGs, the Sustainable Development Goals, are the global goals for sustainability, and they're grown around 2010, 15. They came up from the UN, and they're very, very like globally shaped and made for our development. And we realized a couple of years ago already that by doing EcoProfit alone, we target 11 of those 17 goals by, you know, helping the companies to get some processes optimized. And what we do by now is that we show every company who participates in EcoProfit what SDG they're targeting and where does it help. So for the communication part, we help the companies to get even this this part done and communicated. And for the municipalities, our partners, it's also very important to comply with the SDGs. So I just showed you some examples what our partners are doing. If it's the city of Bielefeld, if it's the district of Recklinghausen, they use the SDGs to communicate the topic, which is very nice and very helpful. So I would just want to sum up what's going on in I know, like, the EcoProfit project has so many possibilities, and we have always the problem to sum it up somehow, but I hope I helped you within this 20 minutes. And what's happening, it's a cooperation project between municipality and economy. We usually have 10 to 15 participants doing EcoProfit at one time. We in Germany have parallel projects, of course, so we are in different cities and doing EcoProfits all the time. Even during the pandemic last year, we skipped on this virtual communication, and some on-site meetings can be done then physically as well. So it works even on this way. Not that nice because the exchange is not working that good, but it's working in terms of getting the information in the right place. So it takes time, and 12 months, sometimes 11, sometimes 13, you know how it goes, depending on holidays and partners and so on. So the main pillars, workshops and on-site meetings. So the connection of getting inputs, getting best practice, getting exchange, and then going individual in my own data, analyzing where can I gain the most benefit, where is my legal compliance deficit maybe, where just getting the company sorted kind of thing, and then getting the best out of it by creating numbers which I can communicate to my employers. So if I change a project, most employers are not happy about it. But if I can explain, it's important in terms of money, it's important in terms of environmental protection, resource management, and so on, I get the arguments done. And so easier to implement changes. And I have a public certification, which is in terms of communication in Germany for German companies getting more and more important, that I show my customers I do something for environmental protection. So I have, I think, 2 more slides, Mr. Löer, is this okay? Okay. So I just briefly, I want to show what we do within EcoProfit and after EcoProfit when companies participate and do. So it depends how many time we have, like, because a lot of companies have done energy management before, so they have the numbers, they have the analysis and so on, but we have the possibility to use EcoProfit to go into mobility projects, to go into audits. In Germany, we have the Energiedienstleistungsgesetz energy audit, which some companies have to do. We have a lot of customers who go into sustainability management by doing, let's say, a corporate carbon footprint. So within EcoProfit, we have the possibility either to start or even to finish such programs as well. It can be ISO, it can be legal compliances, and on all kinds of directions. And the same for our partners, for the municipalities and our different partners. They get through EcoProfit to get the network of companies within their municipality. So we can get further networking projects, climate change strategies, and so on for our project partners in terms of public municipalities. And we have a lot of examples what we have done with those. So we have used this experience, of course, even within our EcoProfit. I have 2 more slides about the projects we have, or where I have participated in Japan, but I would just skip it very first because Mr. Kawakita and Ms. Kondo will talk about it. Yes. In more detail. So I thank you for the attention, and I hope I was not talking too fast.
Hello, Mr. Mihajlovic, great, a wonderful overview over the activities of EcoProfit in a relatively short time. And I think this was the perfect next step, or after Professor Hennicke's presentation. So thank you so much. I think we have a lot to learn there, but especially connecting the different stakeholders to enable this work to move ahead. I think there's still a lot to be done in Japan, and of course we are happy to help you in moving forward with these activities. But also, please, I mean, today we have nearly 160 participants on this call, and if there are any of you who would like to, jump in and support B.A.U.M Consult in its activities here in the EcoProfit scheme, please feel free to contact them or contact us, and let's take this story forward. But now I would like to move on to Menden, and let's see if I can show you the Maximilian Park elephant again. So here we are. So thank you very much. We move now on to Tim Behrendt from the CEO of the WSG Economic and Urban Development Agency in Menden in southern Westphalia, South-Westphalia. And Tim just told me that he actually studied in Wuppertal. So again, Wuppertal pops up here, but there's also a close connection because he lives at the wonderful Möhnesee area, which is actually my home ground in North Rhine-Westphalia. Well, his CV, as you can see, he has a master's degree in engineering science. He worked for several companies, specifically also for Trilux GmbH, which he will talk about today, and as a consultant. And since 2020, so last year, he started working as CEO for the Economic and Urban Development Agency in Menden, a wonderful town in southern Westphalia. Now, I also have a Japanese CV for you, and now I would like to ask you to share your slides. Just a second, I will stop sharing mine. Here we go. So once again, welcome, and the floor is yours.
Yeah, hello everybody. I wish a nice evening to all of our friends in Japan. Konnichiwa. And today I'm glad to talk a bit about a testimonial of ECOPROFIT, as my friend Philipp told you about the program itself. And myself, I want to talk about one specific case, but first of all, I want to tell you where we are located. The lovely city of Menden is located in the county Märkischer Kreis. It is in South-Westphalia, as you can see here on the slides, where we are. And my company is the economic development company, the agency of this city. And the whole Märkischer Kreis, as far as whole South-Westphalia, is participant in ECOPROFIT. So there are many of hundreds of companies in this area that have been participating on ECOPROFIT, and the economic development agency of the county is driving this project. And I talked to the people of the company some days ago, and they're happy for us here in Menden to share some experience, but in regard to the whole area and not only with focus on our town. We, as Philipp told, there are many companies that are participating in ECOPROFIT around southern Westphalia. We in the Märkischer Kreis, in the county, have about 10 companies per year participating, and this for our region leads to massive carbon dioxide and energy savings, and mostly are the first steps for the company to face measures and things about the fight against climate change. And we are really, really proud that we in our company, in our city, have some participants on ECOPROFIT. What I want to do now is to tell you about a specific case. It is not from the city of Menden directly, it is near to Menden, but of a company that was founded in 1912 in Menden. When you look about the old brochures and the old info material about ECOPROFIT, you find several informations about every company that has been participating. Just take a look on the websites, take a look on the materials. You will find many, many brands that you know from Germany. The company I will talk about is the company Trilux. It is a manufacturer of lighting systems, of professional lighting systems. It has a worldwide known brand and about 5,000 employees worldwide. It is based close to Menden, and it was founded 1912 in Menden. So we are very, very close to my city, where I'm the CEO of the Federal Development Agency for. And this company I was working for as a sustainability manager some years ago, and it was nearly my job to implement steps here that led us through ECOPROFIT and other measures to massive climate change measures. As you know, and Philipp already told us, many companies, for example, or even the small companies, they start bottom up with with steps and measures against for the fight against climate change. And mostly the first steps bottom up is a project like ECOPROFIT, where it is really on the base, where measurements like energy savings in the own manufacturing, in the own company is focused, with a good consulting, with a good on-site consulting and talks and a network behind. And most companies then, and so it was at Trilux, using this backwind to go into further steps. And Trilux developed after ECOPROFIT its ISO 14001 environmental protection management system, then added a sustainability report, and last year finally had company-wide declaration on climate neutrality since 2030. So all started with ECOPROFIT, and today, around about 10 years later, we are really mature on these topics of sustainability. And the first measures were that they invested about 200,000 euros of implementing a building-wide and group-wide control system for all energy savings and energy measurements along the group worldwide, in all buildings, on all sites. And additive, they had hundreds of little measures for energy saving within manufacturing and the offices. And this was the bottom of the whole engagement against climate change. And this started in 2011. And the next steps have been the engagement of these management systems, and finally the sustainability report. And every single measure counted. When you look on key performance indicators in retrospective today, you see that all environmental KPIs, all health and safety KPIs started in this decade, in this year, to gain really success and become better and better year after year. But the first steps have been ECOPROFIT. In final conclusion, the last majority of the whole engagement of this company has been the own products. You see on the left side, this was the first steps that have been focused by ECOPROFIT, and it gained major. And about 2-3 years ago, they started to get to the core, as I would call it. They started not only to look on their own emissions, their own energy measures, they started to look into their products and their external emissions. And as you can see from a carbon footprint, this company did 21,000 tons of carbon dioxide are emitted directly from the manufacturing, from the company, but a huge amount of 420,000 tons, they come from their products. And how does this work, of this most important effect? This works about the following issue. 90% of the worldwide energy consumption is from electric lighting. And in Europe, it's 70%, and in Germany, it is even 16%. And when we talk about when every lighting system would have been switched to LED, what more and more happens around the whole world. We in Europe could shut down 5 nuclear power plants, and this is a large amount of energy that's consumed. And when you think about in Germany, the half of the energy is consumed by renewables, and the other half is by fossil energy. We gain better and better each year. And with these measures of the company, we even have the possibility to count in these Europe-wide climate goals. When you look at the LED luminaire, the interesting point is that 90% of the carbon dioxide is coming from the usage, so from the energy consumption of this luminaire. And it's about 1 ton in lifetime, in the whole lifetime circle, per luminaire. And 3 luminaires are equal to 1 car driving 15,000 kilometers. It's not an electric car, but a fossil energy, a fuel-driven car. And this is the amount. When we think about gaining energy, what is the big point for such a company, for such a middle company from Southern Westphalia? Each product from generation 1 to generation 2, for example, we have a luminaire that consumes 1.2 tons carbon dioxide in a lifetime, and the next generation of the same luminaire only consumes 1.0 tons carbon dioxide, because the next LED chip that they install in the next generation is using far less energy and is more efficient. And after all, you can say that this difference makes about the planting, for example, of 16 trees. It's only the difference from 1 luminaire generation 1 to generation 2. And the most interesting thing, if you look at the big picture of this rather little company from South-Westphalia in Germany, it's when they are selling per year about 5 million LED luminaires. This has been the count of 2019. This is equal to the saving of 500,000 gasoline-driven cars driving about 15,000 kilometers per year. So the measures from the company itself have a large impact on worldwide fight against climate change. And another equality, this would be about the compensation that 150 million trees would compensate binding carbon dioxide. And this is a large amount. So what I wanted to get to you in this little impulse, in this little clue to think about, is that one company started with ECOPROFIT to get into the topic, and finally, after some years, after some steps, management systems, sustainability report, and so on, came to the point where they started to look on their own products and their own worldwide impact and the real big measures. And after all, some years ago, I think nobody would have thought about this success story. And this all started in 2011 with the participation in ECOPROFIT. And when you're multiplying this with our city, our region, our country, you see the large impact of ECOPROFIT. Thank you very much.
Yeah, Tim Behrendt, thank you so much for this insight into, so to say, regional, local perspective with a global player like Trilux, and also showing us the great effect or impact this ECOPROFIT and other sustainability measures which you drove during your time at Trilux has had. And we really expect you to now roll that out, of course, to many, many other companies in the region. Thank you so much. So next we move on to Willich, our next favorite town in North Rhine-Westphalia. And I'm not sure whether most of you are aware of this, but Willich is actually, let me see, yeah, I'm sharing the right presentation, is actually, sorry, a town with quite a few Japanese companies, but then thank you once again, Tim Behrendt. But one of the excellent companies which is active in Willich is Rome Semiconductor, and we are very grateful that Roland Brossock is here with us today. Welcome. May I shortly introduce you? You joined Rome Semiconductor in the year 2000 as manager of logistics operation. and became a manager of general affairs in 2019. You have had over 30 years experience and accumulated skills and knowledge in logistics, warehousing, custom, tax, and export control, and personnel management, and well, with a specific focus on logistics, companies, and the semiconductor business. Semiconductor business, obviously a very hot topic these days. But Mr. Bossau, I will also show our Japanese friends your profile in Japanese. And now I would like to ask you to share your screen with us. Just a second. Let me stop sharing my screen. And the floor is yours. And you're speaking from Korschenbruch today, with Düsseldorf in the background. So very international from NRW perspective.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Löer, and welcome to all of you in Germany and Japan. Thanks also for the for my previous presentators presenting all these interesting slides and sharing the information with us. Yeah, I like to briefly introduce our company, ROHM. ROHM is a manufacturer of a wide range of semiconductor products, which was established 1958 in Kyoto, Japan, by our founder, Mr. Ken Sato. We have about 43 companies and design centers worldwide, with about 22,000 employees worldwide. And we have production places in Asia, in about 6 countries in Asia, with own production sites. ROHM Europe is a sales and marketing organization with about 10 offices all over Europe and about 180 employees. The European headquarters is located in Willich, which is very close to Düsseldorf, which you can also see in the nice picture behind me. And all of you know Düsseldorf is very important also for the Japanese companies and for Japanese community. A lot of Japanese people are living there, and we have also a lot of famous and important companies located there. In Willich, with our headquarters, we have also Power Lab and the QA Center, and our distribution warehouse, from where we will deliver to our European customers, is located in the nice city of Pilsen in the Czech Republic. The product range ROHM is producing and selling is started with, in the very beginning, with resistors, and later on it was extended to transistors and diodes, and now we have a wide range of products which we are producing, like integrated circuits, silicon carbide products, laser diodes as well, and also sensors and printheads and a lot of other products which we are producing. Our market applications are, the main market is surely automotive, and the new market segment there, especially the e-mobility, where a lot of our products are integrated. The other market applications, very famous for us also, the industry and the power supply, especially there also the solar energy and the wind energy market. And also we have a lot of customer on consumer and communication applications and others. Our main company objectives are compliance, or is compliance. Compliance by all means in regard of social health and environmental responsibility, and in regard of personal development, and for sure also cultural advancement. And yeah, our company mission is quality is our top priority at all time. And this is not only related to our products, but also through the whole process to observance of laws and regulations, and surely to the respect of or respecting concerns of environment and society and the people. And this is also the bridge to EcoProfit. What was the motivation to start with this EcoProfit project? When we were contacted by B.A.U.M Consult in 2019, we checked and analyzed the background of this EcoProfit, and then we found out, yes, EcoProfit and Rome, that fits, and we decided to start this project and to participate. The motivation was surely operational optimization through the entire company, reduction of the environmental impact of our operation, and also cost reduction surely was a reason to start with this project and to improve our operational result, and also to strengthen the aim to be a valuable corporation for the society, for the employees, and to the investors for sure as well. Yeah, starting with the project, the first step was surely data collection. This is a thought which definitely need to be done to get the basis for this project, and this has really also a good effect in the flow of the project. What was done? We had internal workshops together with B.A.U.M Consult, and during this internal workshops, we reviewed also with the data which we collected about our company and our processes. We reviewed all our processes and the environmental situation, the electricity purchase and consumption, and all kind of appliances, the consumption of fuel, water, and heating, the waste and recyclable materials, hazardous substances, environmental laws and regulations, and identification of measures and investment and subsidies. This was the content of the workshops we had internally, which is very important to get knowledge of the measures we may take. And on the other side, we had this external workshops, which Mr. Mihajlovic already mentioned. Surely due to the pandemic, it was somehow a little bit shortened, but nevertheless, we had a good communication with all the other companies participating on this project. And we could learn from each other and benefit from each other, get knowledge, what kind of ideas other companies have, what problems they maybe have, and how they deal with this problem. And on the other side, we could get also confidence that we are not on a completely wrong way, that we have a lot of good things already in place. And this was also the outcome for our side from this project and from this external workshops. What is very important for the project, and not only for the project, is always to involve the employees. And with involving the employees, you get their loyalty, and you can benefit also from the knowledge of the employees. And yeah, we tried to get with the questionnaire of the employees, we got a lot of interesting ideas, and learned also what the employees wish to get and maybe change and improve. The benefit and the result for us, I just will list up here the main points. We exchanged very old air conditioning sailing units, 4 pieces in 2019 and 10 in 2021. This is still ongoing. We changed to very new sailing units with very high efficiency and for sure high reduction of electricity consumption and costs. And then we switched to green electricity in headquarter village, and also in to other sales offices in Nuremberg and Stuttgart in 2020. And this led to estimated reduction of 96 tons of CO2. Then the expansion of the acquisition of hybrid and electrical company cars is started and still ongoing. And this is also compared with installation of electrical charging stations. With this, we surely would like to support the change to the e-mobility, which is also a very important market segment for us. And yeah, this is ongoing for the time being. What was already planned for last year, but due to the pandemic was postponed, but now recalled for the just started new business term, is the installation of a photovoltaic system on our company building at headquarters. And yeah, with this, for sure, we would like to produce and use our own electricity, our own power, and yeah, reduce the purchase of power, electricity, and support the production of the alternative energy. Then we had also some other, maybe smaller, but also very important topics which we took care. For example, change to recycling paper, and also the reduction of paper use. Then what we started already before the ECOPROFIT project, but what will be continued is the completion to change to LED lighting. And this was also desired by our employees. We changed HR to a digitally HR management system, which is now completely paperless in regard of payroll and applications. And then we have newly purchased a drinking water dispenser in the canteen. And we changed old refrigerators and also the coffee machines. So these are some smaller results also coming out of this project for ECOPROFIT. Yeah, so EcoProfit, as the name is already says already, is can be a profit, and for Rome surely was a profit, and I think it can be a profit for each company, for each business sector, and we will for sure go on with new projects and try to become a more important company in regard of reduction of power usage and to support the environment. So thank you so far for your attention.
Yeah, thank you so much, Mr. Bossok, for this very deep insight into how Rome Semiconductor has used the EcoProfit scheme to address many issues and many areas consequently. And one can see that it is sometimes really the very small issues also which contribute, but obviously also big issues such as air conditioning or where you purchase your electricity, or and that you use your own competence in e-mobility, etc., etc. So I think this is an excellent example, and I assume that also your head office in Kyoto is also very much into many of these things already, since Japanese companies are also very much focused on efficiency and resource efficiency, energy efficiency, and so on. So thank you very much, Bossok-san, as they say here in Kyoto. And now let's move on to our next speaker. Yes, thank you for that last slide. And I would like to, well, go back to my presentation first. Just a second. Yes, and we come to Professor Sae Kondo, Associate Professor, Graduate School of Engineering at Mie University. And she recently moved to Mie and is still a visiting researcher at the University of Tokyo. And just to give you an overview of her background, originally Kondo-sensei comes from Gifu Prefecture, which is of course also a very nice area in Japan, studying at the University of Tokyo, then worked for JR, the Japanese railway company, in the area of architectural design. And then she is a first-class architect and worked also on the JR Tokai linear pavilion at the Aichi Expo. But more recently, she's involved in community development projects furthering citizen participation in designing vacant house renovations and exchange facility, very important topic in Japan. And she specializes in creating a base for civic collaboration and exchange and participation and collaboration, and also works on governance theory. So, Kondo-sensei, here is your Nihongo no Rireki de gozaimasu. And I welcome you. Just a second, let me stop sharing my screen and ask you to kindly share yours. Yokoso. We can't hear you yet, so please put on your mic.
はい、ありがとうございます。ご紹介いただきました。近藤と申します。では私の方から、プレゼンテーションを始めさせていただきます。本日は、Implementing Japan's EcoProfit to Realize a Sustainable Society と題しまして、A Case Study from Iwaki City、福島県のいわき市で、 行った日本版エコプロフィットの、事例についてご紹介をさせていただきたいと思います。でまず、いわきの簡単なご紹介です。日本の皆様には大変馴染みがある場所だとは思いますけれども、東北の福島県にある大体人口が34万人ぐらいの市になりますが、皆様のご記憶にも新しい福島第一原子力発電所の事故で大きな災害、損害を受けた場所ということが言えると思います。でそんな町ですけれども、非常にその前まではたくさんの観光客が訪れるような場所でもありました。で例えばですね、この一番最後にトゥーリズムというふうに説明をしておりますけれども、皆様もご存知の方もいらっしゃるかもしれませんが、ここにはですね、ハワイアンズというフラダンスを大変プロフェッショナルなフラダンスをショーとして提供する場所がありまして、でここにはですね、年間で800万人ミリオンですねの観光客が訪れるという大変人気の街です。で今もだんだんその観光客の足が戻ってきているとはいえども、まだまだ全盛期の頃ではないというのが現状です。でハワイアンズが誘致されるのもうなずけるんですけれども、大変暖かくて、雪も少なくて日照時間も長いという、そういう街です。で産業もそれなりに発達していまして、重工業をはじめさまざまな産業、生産業の拠点となっている、そんな町になっています。で我々がなぜこのいわき市でこのエコプロフィット日本版をしたかということなんですけれども、実はですね、これ RCAST とありますが、これは東京大学の先端科学技術研究センターという大学のプチ研究所の一つになっておりますが、私も3月までここの正式なメンバーだったんですけれども、4月からちょっと三重大の方に、転居しているわけなんですけれども、この、東京大学の先端科学技術研究センターといわき市が包括連携協定を結んでおりました。でそれを先導しているのがこの写真にあります飯田誠准教授になりますが、この飯田先生は再生可能エネルギー、それも風力発電の、研究者でして、でいわきは先ほど申し上げましたように原発事故で大変な損害を受けておりますので、脱原発というところを謳い、再生可能エネルギーの生産地かつ消費地になろうとしています。でそこでこの飯田先生との出会いがありまして、じゃあ先端県所属している先端県といわき市、この全体で連携を結びまして、もちろん風力をコアにしながら、それだけではなくって、環境エネルギー分野で、あとは、もっと、門戸を広げまして、例えば私のようなまちづくりとか都市計画とか建築計画をやっているような研究者ともつながり、全体としていわき市を盛り上げていこうと、そういう連携協定を結んだという背景があります。とはいえですね、なかなか、この一つその、環境エネルギー分野の盛り上がりをとってみてしても、なかなか市民全体にその機運を醸成していく、盛り上げていくというのは難しくてですね、でそんな時にエコプロフィットというプログラムが実は市民もしくはもう少し大きなまた対象として会社、組織という単位で再生可能エネルギーの生産地に向かうような、そういう気持ちを盛り立てていけるんじゃないかということで、その有効なプログラムであろうということでエコプロフィットを導入させていただきました。ですので我々が狙っていたところとしては、まずエコプロフィットの直接的な効果として示されているこの例えば CO2 の削減とか、それによって利益が上がるとか、イメージが会社のイメージが 良くなるというところだけではなくて、この下に青い字で書いてありますように、社員の人材育成とか、もしくは新しい事業へのひらめきとか、あとは異業種の人たちとのネットワーク情勢みたいなところにも実は効果があるのではないか。これが実はこの我々が狙っていたこの目的に大変有効なのではないかというところでエコプロフィットを導入させていただきました。で、ひいてはこれがうまくいけば、我々が当初結んでいたこのパートナーシップ連携協定の目的も達成できるだろうと、そういう思惑があったわけです。で、いわき市ですね。自治体の市ですとか、あとは商工会議所さんにも協力者になっていただいて、で参加者を募りましたところ、ここにありますように6つの企業さんがでは参加したいということで手を挙げていただきました。で、見ていただきますように、本当にこの6つの会社、組織は全然違う産業の形態でして、ですので、大変バラエティに富んだ参加者を集めることができたなというふうに思っています。でまた、組織としては6つなんですけれども、参加者としては1企業2人とか、途中で人が入れ替わって、トータル3名の方が、参加していただいたというところもありまして、非常に協力的な参加者に巡り合うことができました。で、内容についてなんですけれども、エコプロフィットのやり方にのっとりまして、ワークショップと、あとはオンサイトコンサルタント、それぞれの組織に参りまして、基本的には、省エネに関する、お悩みなどを伺いながら、皆様のニーズに応えていくと、アドバイスをさせていただくというコンサルタントを差し込みながら、ワークショップは全5回。でコンサルタントは2回という、そういう内容で実施をさせていただいています。でちょっと期間が抜けておりますけれども、これは2019年の9月から1月までの間、2020年の1月までの間に行ったものになります。で、ワークショップ1から5にかけて、それぞれ内容はですね、参加者の関心に沿って、基本的には環境やエネルギー分野の、専門的な知を皆さんにご提供するというところで、講師なども選びながらインプットをしておりますけれども、それだけではなくて、先ほどもう一つエコプロフィットの直接的な効果だけではなくて、間接的な効果も狙うというところをご説明しましたように、その間接的な効果、ここにちょっと上に書いておりますけれども、例えば1回目でしたら、地域の特性をよく理解するとか、2回目は事業における効率性とか、あとはコストアウェアネスを高めるとか、3回目は課題を抽出し、そしてそれに対する適切なソリューションを導き出すというような、こういう背景というか、副次的な効果もちゃんと入れ込むような内容でワークショップを組み立てさせていただきました。で最終的には皆さんに成果として、アクションプランというのを作っていただいております。でこのアクションプランというのが何なのかというのを次のスライドでお見せしたいと思いますが、ちょっとここに赤字で、インスタグラムのリンクを貼らせていただいておりますが、この各回にやった簡単な報告、ニュース、速報的なものですけれども、このインスタグラムに載せております。これは東大先端研で私が3月まで実際に運営をしておりましたリビングラボという地域連携を促進する組織のインスタグラムになっていますが、ここを訪れていただきますと、何をやってどんな様子だったかという、その、報告が見れますので、もしご関心の方はぜひこの赤字のリンクに入っていただけると嬉しいなと思います。で、アクションプランですけれども、どんなアクションプランを考えていただいたかということなんですけれども、個別に、 省エネ活動、その組織の中の省エネ活動、新たな省エネ活動を考えるだけではなくて、その先には必ずいわき市の将来像というのをちゃんと示してくださいということをお題にさせていただきました。ですので、このアクションとこの4番のゴール、地域のゴールというところを必ず密接に結びつけた、そういうプランにしてくださいということです。ですので、このアクションがちゃんとゴールに向かっていけるように、例えば誰がいつ誰とどこでそのアクションをするのかというところを具体的に描いていただいたりですとか、ではこれによってこれによってというか、こういうことをするためには、どんなその内部的な制約があるのか、でそれは組織の中でこのアクションを取ることによって、どんな壁があるのかというところをちゃんと洗い出していただき、それを超えるためにはどんなスキームがあるのか、反対に今度は組織の中だけではなくて社会的に見てどんなニーズがあるのか、どんな社会への責任があるのかというところも考えた上で、そこにリーチするようなスキームを考えていただいた上で、このアクションを実際に進めていく、その計画を立てていただいたわけです。で、ただ計画を立てるだけではなくって、それがより実行に結びつきやすいように、このアクションを取るとどんな直接的な良いことが、効果があるのか、また、間接的にもどんな効果があるのかというところも含めて皆さんには検討していただきました。そうするとですね、この4番に書いていますいわき市の将来像がより現実味を持ってこのプランの中に生きてくるわけです。で、参加者それぞれに組織の中でのプランを立てながらも、それがどんなふうにいわきにとって効果があるのかというところでご発表いただきましたところ、非常に面白い提案をいただきました。これは別に我々が皆さんに、そうしてくださいというふうにお願いしたわけではないんですけれども、この一つずつのワークショップとかオンサイトコンサルタントを通じて、参加者皆さん相互の中で、いろんな気づきを得て、あとはディスカッションした上での提案でしたが、それをざっくりまとめますと、ある C という小売業の会社がありました。ここがですね、会社の中で非常に大きな問題を抱えていました。で、それが、ここに書いてありますように、食料廃棄の、問題が、なかなか解決しづらいという問題を皆さんに紹介をされています。で、この大量の食品廃棄物っていうのは、今までも一生懸命これを解消するために、対応策を取ってきていると。例えば、それはそもそも発注をするときに精度を持って発注をするとか、あとはどんな需要があるかという需要予測もちゃんと立てた上で発注をすると。で、余ってしまったものには適切なタイミングで適切な量を値引きをして余らせないような、そんな工夫もしてきているんだけれども、それでもなおかつこの廃棄する食料が減らないというか、それでも余ってしまうという、ごめんなさい、こっちですね。それでも余ってしまうと、そういう問題がありました。これに対してですね、実はこの3つの会社、夜勤のシフトを持つ工場を動かしている会社3つありまして、ここがですね、実はこの夜勤の社員の健康、特にこれは食料ですね。食料といいますか、食事に対する夜の勤務の食料に対して、良い福利厚生が提供できていないと。夜勤の人たちは自分で例えばコンビニエンスストアで買うとか、ご家族が理解があればお弁当を作ってくれるとかっていうことにしているんだけれども、会社として何のサポートもないというところにちょっと課題意識を持っていた。で、実はこの3社のこの解決できないけれども、なんか潜在的になんかニーズがありそうというものと、この C という会社の顕在化している非常に何でしょう、課題ですね。ここが マッチングできるのではないかという、そんな、話し合いになりました。で、じゃあ、どうやったらマッチングできるのかというところに、実はもう一つの会社が、我々のところにはそれを効率よく、需要と供給をこう、マッチさせるようなそういうシステムを作るノウハウがあるということを、提案してくれまして、では、この2つの、人たちの需要と供給をこの CF という会社がシステムでもって解決をすると、そんな6つの会社すべてが関わるようなビジネスマッチングができました。ごめんなさい、6つと言いますが、ちょっと1つの会社さんはちょっとここから抜け落ちてしまっているんですけども。で、それでですね、じゃあそういうプランをみんなで一緒に立てようということでご提案をいただいたところが、非常に我々も想像しなかった、大変地域のサステナビリティにも効果のあるそんな成果になったわけです。で、これだけで収まらずにですね、例えば C という会社さんは、それでも余るような、食品廃棄物に関しては、じゃあこれからは積極的にフードバンクにこれを提供しますと。で、それができれば自分たちのその CSR の活動が活発になって、社会的な企業としての価値も高まるでしょうという、そういうさらなるその展開、社会に対する展開についても気づくことができたと、そんな効果が得られました。ですので、日本版のエコプロフィットの、プログラムでは、彼らの、日本では、省エネ活動、各企業さん、組織の省エネ活動というのは、だいぶ進んできているというところがあります。ですので、そこに重きを置くのではなくて、それだけではなく、それが社会的にどんな意味を持つのかとか、もしくは参加している人たちの間で、何か、ニーズと、あとはそれを、それにマッチするためのシーズをうまく組み合わせながら、イノベーションを起こしていくというような、そんな、ちょっと大きなダイナミックな展開が期待できるのではないかということを今感じている次第です。で、この取り組みなんですけれども、実は昨年これをじゃあ本当に事業ベースにしていこうと、ビジネスにしていこうというところまで話し合いをしてたんですけれども、このコロナ禍で少しこのアクションがストップしてしまっているところはあります。ですが、皆さん落ち着いたらぜひこの案を実現化させたいというお気持ちはお持ちと聞いておりますので、これをまたサポートしていくべく動きたいなというふうに考えておりますのと、またこの活動はですね、岩手市の他の企業さん、もしくは別の地域へ展開していくということも我々積極的に今考えているところです。はい、私からの発表は以上とさせていただきます。ありがとうございました。
Kondo Sensei, どうもありがとうございました。Professor Kondo, thank you so much for this very interesting presentation. I think this is a very valuable actual project in Iwaki. Actually, Iwaki was also the start for our relationship with Fukushima Prefecture. In 2011, we also contacted people in Iwaki, and then through Iwaki, Koriyama, Fukushima City, we are now very close with Uchibori, Governor Uchibori, and the people from Fukushima. But I hope you also had the opportunity to eat some of this wonderful, huge shoe cream. Do you know what shoe cream is? In Iwaki, they have this huge, wonderful shoe cream. It's not very healthy, at least not for me, but they are really excellent. Yes, Windbeutel, as they say in German. Okay, well, thank you so much. I'm afraid my timekeeping is horrible and I'm talking too much, but let's move on to Kawakita-san. Kawakita-san, dozo, please enter. And let me just share the screen once again. Here we go. Kondo Sensei Thank you so much. And on we go to Kawakita-san from B.A.U.M Consult Japan Company Limited. Here you have his profile. He's, I think, from Kanazawa, graduated Kanazawa University Graduate School, worked as an engineer at a plant engineering company to improve the environment of public water institutions, and has been engaged in planning and design of environmental buildings and zero emission buildings at a construction company, and since 2019 is Executive Vice President at B.A.U.M Consult Japan. Kawakita-san, thank you so much. Here's your Japanese CV, and I would like to ask you, are you going to share the slides yourself?
Yes, I will.
Okay, then I will stop sharing my slides here, and dozo.
はい。はい、ありがとうございます。B.A.U.Mコンサルトジャパン川北光一郎と申します。グーテンモルゲン、ドイツの皆さん、グーテンモルゲン。これまでですね、エコプロフィットのドイツでの成功、並びに日本での可能性について各講演者の方々にご発表いただきまして、皆さんと、十分に共有できたのかなと思います。私からはですね、そのエコプロフィットを日本でも実践すると、今お聞きいただいている皆さん、ぜひご参加くださいというような趣旨の発表をさせていただくことになります。長時間にわたっています皆さんお疲れかと思いますが、今しばらくお付き合いいただければなと思います。そうですね、ここでざっくりと私の自己紹介をしたかったんですが、だいぶ時間も押してますので、簡単に、先ほど発表もありましたロームが生まれた京都で生まれまして、滋賀県で育って、現在東京で暮らしております。今現在私が働いているのはB.A.U.Mコンサルトジャパン、株式会社というところになります。早速ですが、ではその会社、どんな会社かということを、紹介させていただきます。B.A.U.Mコンサルトジャパンはですね、ドイツと日本の共同出資によって2019年に設立されました。出資者の一人であるマンフレッド・ラウシェンさん、30年以上前にですね、ドイツでいち早く環境に配慮した建設技術、並びに再生可能な原材料を使用した低エネルギー建築物を手掛け、多くの技術者を輩出したエコセンターの代表であります。続きまして、先ほどエコプロフィットの詳細をご紹介いただいたフィリップさんが所属するB.A.U.Mコンサルトの代表、ヨハネス・アウゲさんですね。それと、我がB.A.U.Mコンサルトジャパン代表、谷口。この3社がですね、志を共にして設立した会社、それがエコプロフィットジャパン、B.A.U.Mコンサルトジャパンです。じゃあ、その志は何かと申しますと、まさに会社のミッションであります、環境先進国であるドイツの経験、知見を活用し、日本の環境経営を推進するというものであります。そんな我々がですね、目指す姿、それは、行政と民間をつなぐコーディネーターでありたいと、これまで数多くのコンサルタントとは一線を画すような立場を取りたいなと。それはどういうものかというとですね、企業単体とかですね、自治体単体への取り組みを支援するのではなく、企業グループおよび自治体ですね、それらが一体となって地域内におけるカーボンニュートラルを実現させる、そして結果的に地方創生を果たすと。それらに対してですね、一翼を担う立場、我々はそうありたいと、そのように考えているわけです。そのためのツールとしてですね、先ほど来ご紹介いただいているドイツで20年以上にわたり成功を続けているプログラム、エコプロフィットを推進したいなと考えています。次にですね、じゃあエコプロフィットがなぜ今日本に必要なのか、それを次ページ以降で説明させていただきたいなと思います。まずに環境におけるニーズ、日本国内のニーズですね、それを簡単ではありますが、説明させていただきます。企業において、例えばですね、正しい環境に関する知識、正確な情報、そういうものがですね、社員にあれば、 企業全体のですね、環境に対する意識改革が進むのではないかと、そのように考えている経営者さんも多くおられると思います。典型的な話で言うと、家庭にいるとですね、電気の消し忘れとか、そういったことがないようにこまめに消灯するんですけれども、いざ会社に出てくると、そういうことに無頓着になってしまう社員とか、そういったものが典型的な事例なのかなと思います。またですね、ISO を代表とするマネジメントシステムですね、そちらを導入したものの、その導入したことで満足してしまっていると。要はマネジメントシステムの認証取得そのものが目的化してしまっているというような会社も多いのかなというような気がしております。本来ですね、マネジメントシステムが持つ役割を正確に理解し、正しく運用すること、そのことが経営を強化していくと、そのことを社員に十分に理解させたいと、そのように考える経営者さんも多いと思っております。さらにですね、先ほどもご紹介ありましたように、乾いた雑巾と日本の省エネは言われてます。ほとんどやり尽くしたというような経営者に対してはですね、また新たな今までにないアイディア、そういったものが必要になるんじゃないかなと、そのように考えております。ESG 投資への対応とかですね、そのあたりも同じように企業を悩んでいるところかなと考えております。一方でですね、自治体にとってはですね、去年、我が日本の菅首相の所信表明で発表されたカーボンニュートラル宣言、あれがやはりとてもインパクトのあるものだったわけですね。今現在、日本中の自治体が躍起になってゼロカーボンシティ宣言を謳い始めていると、まさにそういう状況です。とはいえですね、実情は、ゼロカーボンシティ実現へ向けたまさにシナリオ作りを始めたと、そういった状況かなと思います。少なくともですね、ゼロカーボンシティを実現しようとするにはですね、地域における徹底した省エネと再生可能エネルギーの導入ですね、こちらの両輪が必要不可欠だろうと考えております。でその実現にはですね、自治体単独の取り組みではまず不可能であると。地域内においてですね、官民の連携が推進され、地域内のネットワークが構築されること、まずはそれが必要じゃないかと考えております。で、その企業や自治体を取り巻く、地域社会全体、こちらについてもですね、同様に地域経済が発展してほしいとか、市民の環境機能の高まりをさらに醸成していきたい等々の地域全体のニーズがかぶってくるわけです。でですね、今日本の、ざっくりと日本における環境面のニーズを説明したんですが、このニーズすべてにエコプロフィットが応えてくれると、そのように私どもは考えているわけです。すみません、ちょっと話がずれるんですけれども、とはいえですね、これらのニーズというのは、年々日々変わり続けていくものなのかなと思っております。例えば SDGs、今でこそ皆さん口にしますし耳にもするんですけれども、つい数年前まではほとんどの人が知らなかったなと思うんですね。つまりこうして日本国内でニーズが顕在化されているということ、それ以前にですね、その顕在化される前に、海外ではもうすでに顕在してたと。要は日本のニーズが海外の後を追ってるみたいな状況って多々あると思います。だからこそですね、我々バームコンサルトジャパンは、環境先進国であるドイツの成功事例、知見、経験に学ぶ必要があると、そのように考えております。すみません、ちょっと話がそれました。ではですね、日本国内の環境におけるニーズ、それがエコプロフィットは叶えると申しましたが、どんな部分が何をもって叶えるのかというところを説明します。それはですね、エコプロフィットが持っているエッセンス、コンボイアプローチと呼ばれる、グループ参加型学習、こちらにあると考えております。先ほど説明がありましたように、エコプロフィットでは異業種、異分野の企業グループが、自治体を主催者として1年間を通してプログラムを実践します。 プログラム開始当初はですね、多分ですけれども、参加者の皆さん、めんどくさいなとか、そのように考えておられるのも、考えられる参加者もおられるんじゃないかなと思ったりもします。しかしですね、1年間のプログラムでありますので、強制的に実践をせざるを得ない環境に追い込まれると。で、その強制が、習慣化を生むと。要はもうやらざるを得なくなってしまってやり続けると。で、その習慣化した活動においてですね、名前の通り、参加者たちは自らの手でプロフィットを生み出していくと。そういうことを、プロフィットを生み出していく、その過程を通して、プログラム全体を通して、初めは嫌やったものがだんだんやらざるを得なくなっていって、最終的にはプロフィットを得てやったというような、プログラム全体を通して、非常に喜びを持って終了するみたいなところですね。それが自律化、一人一人の自律化を生んでいくと思っております。そのような仕組みをですね、生み出すもの、それがコンボイアプローチだと考えています。当然ですね、プログラムでは先ほどの説明にもありましたが、各分野の専門家から正しい知識を吸収することができます。さらにですね、特にワークショップを通してさまざまな情報を、参加者間の間で共有することができるわけです。それは例えば他社の成功事例であったり失敗事例であったりですね、そういう生の情報を得られると。それは個々の会社がそれぞれの活動で進めていく中ではまず得られない情報、貴重な情報だと思います。年間を通して、グループ活動をすることで、コミュニケーションが濃厚になっていくからこそ生まれる貴重な情報。なので、こういう専門家から得た正しい知識と、グループ学習を通して得た生の生きた情報、それらをですね、正確に理解することができるようになると。で、その理解が、脳の活性化を生み、先ほど近藤先生のご紹介にもありましたような、新たなアイディアを創出していくような、きっかけを生むと。それがまさにエコプロフィットであると考えています。このように自治体と民間企業グループが、一体となって1年間のプログラムを推進することが当然ながら、官民連携を推進すると。参加者一人一人の環境に対する意識改革、それも促しますし、正確な情報をもとにした新たなアイデア創出、それの循環ということで、自律化も生む、それを生み出す場、まさにそれがエコプロフィットだと、考えております。すいません。すいません、駆け足になりましたが、日本に、エコプロフィットの日本におけるその有効性について、説明させていただきました。ご理解しづらい部分もあったのかなと思って、ちょっと反省しておりますが、少なくとも今、我々が直面している、カーボンニュートラル実現という新たな課題ですね、そちらを解決するには、これまでにない新たな手法が必要だと考えております。ドイツで20年以上にわたり成功しているエコプロフィットがそのソリューションの一つになると考えております。で、そのエコプロフィット日本で開催したいなと考えています。今年の6月以降、参加者を募ります。10月から1年かけてプログラムを実践しますので、お忙しい中お聞きいただいた皆様にぜひご参加いただければなと思います。B.A.U.Mコンサルトジャパンと一緒に日本で環境経営を推進しましょう。そしてカーボンニュートラル実現を果たし、この地球を後世に残しましょう。ありがとうございました。
Thank you so much
You are welcome.
for your excellent presentation and your passionate call for cooperation. I think that's very important, and we look forward to supporting you as part of the German-Japanese cooperation. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for participating. Thank you to the speakers. I apologize once again that we are very far behind schedule, but nonetheless, we have a little bit of time to once again ask our panelists to join in. Please come forward, show yourself on the screen. Thank you so much. Yeah, Professor Hennicke, I don't know what your feeling about today's morning or today's afternoon is. I think we got quite a round view of important topics, starting with your excellent presentation about the circular economy and what we have to do, but then also going into very practical issues on the regional and city and company level. So what is your wish, and what is your recommendation for us to move ahead?
Yeah, thank you very much. Really interesting, coming from top down to bottom up, real problem solution. What I would suggest is to intensify the cooperation between our countries, but between industry and research as well. I think we need a new alliance, an innovation partnership, to really scale up and speed up the processes for innovation and real reduction of carbon dioxide and resource use. That means we need flagship projects and dissemination of good practice examples. The second point, if I may, is we should combine social innovation with technological innovation. When we look into the business fields, for example, product, service, systems, it's quite clear that we have to take the consumers on board. So I look forward to new ideas, new concepts, and intensifying cooperation.
Yes, thank you so much. Mr. Mihajlovic, what is your what are your takeaways from today's events? From today's event?
Yeah, I think I would go in a similar direction, that technology on the one side is very important in having, you know, bottom up and top down plans and strategies. But in the end, we have to take the people to talk to each other and to think about the processes. So we do it with ECOPROFIT in small steps, on small down level topics. But as we see it in a pandemic, without the people, the strategies and the ideas we get from top down are not always working. So I think communication about in what direction we are moving is very, very important.
Yes, and I also think, I mean, I think this was mentioned in Professor Hennicke's presentation also, but I mean, we as mostly people who are living in large or larger cities, you know, sometimes tend to lose contact with nature, and we must really take a close look at what is happening in the regions, for instance, in Japan or in Germany, with the nature on which our lives and livelihood depends. So I think also there a holistic approach and a look at, you know, our basis on which our lives depend is very important. May sound a bit sentimental, but I think that's very basic things. And I'm a big fan of bottom-up corporations, and I'm also a big fan of regional corporations. So Kondo Sensei, we would like to, you know, continue working with you, and be it in Mie or in Fukushima or Yamanashi or other areas around Japan, we'll be happy to connect and also to support you and your projects. I think it's very important that you also convince your clients that they, you know, show the projects very openly to the public, because to show the success stories and to communicate them, that will increase the momentum and the opportunities dramatically, I think. Yeah. And Mr. Brosok and Kawakita-san, also thank you so much for you, both of you, for giving this excellent concrete example out of corporations. I mean, we hear a lot of talk not only about SDGs, but also ESGs nowadays. Investors are very much focusing on looking at how big companies are engaged and what they do and where they invest. And that's very important. But again, as the example of Rome has shown, it's very important in everyday working life and everyday life to turn off the light at the right time and to exchange air conditioners and so on, to reduce the energy usage. And I think that these were really very nice examples. And Mr. Behrendt, I can't see him on the screen right now, but also showed us very nice examples from Trilux, lighting, quite obviously, yeah, as we mentioned. And so, everyone, I apologize that we did not have time for a real discussion with our audience, but I have to keep the final time a little bit in view. And please, let's continue this dialogue. We are happy to support B.A.U.M and consult, and also all stakeholders who are actively engaged in this area, the Japan Energy Transition Council and its excellent work. And also let's go forward. I think right now we are at an excellent time where much can be achieved, because we are back, so to say, on the right track with our President Biden in the US, and even the Chinese have realized that they have to do something about the environment. And Prime Minister Suga, I mean, he seems totally changed. Yeah, so he's a big environmentalist now, and so we expect also in Germany, of course, this year and beyond, the environmental agenda to make big steps forward. So thank you so much for your participation. I realized it's Friday evening right now. Maybe in Düsseldorf and Wuppertal and Menden, you still have to, and Hamm, you still have to, do a little bit more work. But enjoy Friday evening and enjoy the weekend, and see you again. Mata
See you.
Show. Thank you. Bye-bye.